And then finally, word on your teammate Enzo. He's doing really, really well in the championship, and I guess that kind of gives you. That must give you.
Well, I never thought I would come back to F2, so never say never. You know, at the end of the day, my dream is still to become a Formula One driver, and best way to achieve that is through Formula 2. So to have a second chance to come back with a team that we wanted to give me that opportunity with the sponsorship of another female artist, a Colombian. You know, it shows that girls need to support girls, and at the end, that's when we need to make a difference. So I'm extremely grateful to be back in F2. Obviously, it's tough to just jump in halfway or more than halfway through the season, but you know, those opportunities, they come not very often, so hopefully I can make the most out of it.
The more opportunities we get, we can really show that we can perform. We just need that support, that bit of push, and you know, that equal opportunity, more track time. But with time, I think, you know, when you're determined and you really want to do your best, you can bring results. You know, once we put the helmet down, there is no really gender. It's more of what a driver could do on track.
Being a woman in motorsport, you can impact a whole lot more people than if you were just another guy. So that's something that I've enjoyed.
You know, the pressure that I put on myself is to be the best version of myself, no matter what. And just having people look up to me, it almost gives you more motivation to do better. You know, people are, you know, looking up to you and hoping that you do well.
Well, let's see, this is the beginning, and I think it's time that one girl will be in Formula One.
What a race that was. That's all we do is, baby. Yes! Finally! Oh, that was fun.
Tatiana has been in the paddock for several years before she left for America at the end of 2019. It's always been a joy having her around as an overall human being, but also as a sportswoman who's so dedicated and passionate in what she's doing and really paving the way for younger girls and inspiring them and showing that it's possible when you're 100% dedicated and you give your everything. Then there's no reason why you cannot achieve the dream and getting closer and closer to Formula One. So seeing her return and rejoin towards the end of the season was a really good news. Seeing her fighting and getting back into the car, it's not easy. And on top of that, it was an emotional return for her to jump back into the car, you know, at Spa, where we all know what happened there in 2019.
I always thought after 2019 that I had unfinished business here, so I'm really happy that I have a second chance. It's been a couple of intense weeks for me, so I'm very grateful with Charus, with the Scuderia Telmex, with Carol G, to be back racing again. And I feel much more prepared than when I was here back in 2019. I've been to Super Formula, I've done IndyCar. So I've been in very tough situations since then, and I think I know how to handle myself better, the pressure. So I really look forward to just enjoying being back in the car and see some really familiar faces around the paddock.
Please make some noise for Tatiana Calderón!
It was incredible to see so many girls. I don't think I have ever seen so many. I think that's encouraging that they were cheering me up.
Thank you. Much luck to you.
And rooting for me. So yeah, hopefully that means we're going in the right direction.
I joined the paddock in 2008.
Anything for you, Alex?
When I did join, the women involved in the sport in the paddock were more into the roles of logistics and PR and managing day-to-day drivers and teams. Ready?
Increasing women in the paddock as a whole is a really big challenge. Management level is one thing, but it's mechanics, it's truckies, it's engineers, data engineers. I think when you think of the word mechanic, the image that comes into your head is predominantly male, and that's just through what we're used to. But there's absolutely no reason why a woman couldn't and can't do those roles, and we're seeing in the junior championships that some women are. But it's just changing the mindset of young people at really formative times in their education and their kind of career choices, that this is an option. And there's two ways to do that. One, you have to have strong role models. That's really key. You need to make an example and show that it is possible. But also at the grassroots and in schools, we need to be showing and encouraging and making it more possible for girls to make those decisions.
It's very tough to be a female in motorsport. You know, people sometimes don't realize you always have the attention, even when you don't want it.
And it's Ollie Caldwell arguing with Tatiana Calderón. The safety car is out.
Obviously, also through my career, I've been I'm the only female who has done F2 and other series. So you go there without knowing what to expect, without having any data from anybody else. And, you know, we are different, female and men. Our bodies, our mentality. So with a few little details, I think we can do better.
It literally only takes one, and it's the same situation as with the mechanics and the engineers. You need the role models, but you also need the support at the bottom.
So I'm Abby Pulling. My name is Hamda Al-Kubaisi.
My name is Chloe Chambers.
I'm Nerea Martin.
I'm currently racing in W Series. And I race in Freca with the Prema Power Team.
This year, I'm in W Series.
W Series.
I got into motorsport through my dad back before I could even walk, really. When I was 8 years old, I got my own kart. Yeah, it just kept progressing, and here we are today. I started in karting when I was 12. It was more of a hobby at the beginning, but then it slowly turned into a profession, and you know, I moved up to F4, and from there we realized we could get a lot of results.
I started racing go-karts when I was 8, and I did that up until 2021. And then for the 2021 season, I raced in F4 in the United States.
And I started when I was 13. My dad and my uncle opened a rental karting in Valencia, in Spain. And then I started to compete in go-karts, then in Formula 4, Spanish F4 Championship.
Obviously, you know, I'm in single-seaters, and I think everyone in single-seaters has got the dream of being in Formula 1 one day. Yeah, the natural progression is obviously to go into F3.
Ever since I started racing, I've always looked at Formula 1. I grew up watching it. My dad watched it, so naturally I started watching it. And I started racing go-karts because I wanted to be in Formula 1.
So we're here in Magny-Cours for a female F3 test. I think is a great initiative from the F3 organizers.
It's a nice week after the craziness that was Monza and the triple header.
Victor Martins, the current champion, the new champion, is here to set a reference lap for the girls, and they're sort of chasing and learning off him. So great opportunity for them to sort of hop up from driving the cars that they sort of drive at the moment to getting behind much more powerful machinery. And yeah, I'm pretty jealous, to be honest.
Motorsport is about excellence. You have to be at the top. To do the comparison with Victor, who won the championship last week, makes absolutely sense.
To be honest, it feels amazing to be here, giving some advice, and also giving them my experience from the F3. It's a really nice opportunity for them to show their potential.
Yeah, it's been great having Victor, and I've been squeezing as much out of him as possible to learn a bit more about the car and the track, and the feedback that he gave was really productive, and yeah, he just really wanted us all to do well.
It's great to have Tatiana here as well. I've known her for a long time and we get on really well, and she's a great ambassador for the sport. Even though she's only got sort of one arm at the moment, she's still here supporting the girls.
She's so humble, so kind. She was showing us different ways of how to use the track, how to warm up the tires. You know, as a woman in motorsports as well, I see her as an idol, so for her to be here, it's amazing. It's been really nice, and she's been giving everyone a thumbs up the whole day as well.
So I'm really happy to be here because, you know, at the end of the day, I want to see more females do well in Formula 3, see more coming through, because in the last couple of years we haven't seen that many.
The issue is that being a Formula 1 driver, which is the focus for many young drivers and drivers that want to be professionals, I think there's probably more astronauts than there are Formula 1 drivers. And when a child says they want to be an astronaut, we all think it's adorable and, you know, let's kind of humour them, but nobody thinks it's realistic. When a karter says they want to be a Formula 1 driver, everybody is like, okay, well, this is the aim. But actually, it's as hard to become a Formula 1 driver. And if you consider it a pyramid, you know, there's all these children at the bottom in karting, and it gets narrow as you go up to the very pinnacle of Formula 1. Just the maths is that so many won't make it.
Create a right quantity. There's a lot of work that will need to be done probably by the FIA, the local federations, to try to have more girls coming into the system very young. And that's something that is very important. But for us, we're working on I would say, the upper side of what is now available. And it's something that we really need to do with a lot of effort, but carefully, because I want to make sure that if there is one that comes in F3 in 2 years' time, in 3 years' time, she's ready. And that's something that is really important.
Because the entire idea is not to get them to Formula 3 and not perform. It's for them to get to Formula 3 and be at the level that will help them fight for points and podiums.
I think it's a huge opportunity to find out what they need to make the step to Formula 3. It's also really important for Formula 3 to understand what they need, because if we are serious about getting more young female drivers into the championship, then we have to look at what is necessary to move them up the ladder. What are the blockages?
We are doing a normal test day with a proper look on the data, and they are improving quite well during the day.
So first, there were some differences compared to Victor, but the most important with my work is to be sure that the girls were improving through the day, and it's what happened. Yeah, it's great. They were doing great today, yeah.
The problem a lot of the time is a lack of testing time, is a lack of these type of closed testing days where you're being given debriefs by real race engineers, where you're getting the opportunity to be put through your paces and told you need to go out and do these runs, you need to hit these deltas. And that's all really, really important development for any young driver. And any young driver that can get it has a significant advantage over where they were before they had it.
And of course the main goal also of this test is to take pleasure, enjoy the moment, because there are only few opportunities like that. So for sure to drive an F3 car is awesome, but I think they'll enjoy. But also, you know, we are drivers. We want to be fast, so for sure we want the performance. But first, I think it's important to enjoy.
It's been so fun. You know, I've learned so much, been able to take so much away from today. I can't even bring the words to how fun it's been. I've had a smile on my face like all day.
Yeah, Abby said to me, she's like, wow, this car is amazing. She says, this is exactly where I want to sort of progress to be in the next year or two, which is what I expected her to say, to be honest.
Honestly, an amazing experience. I'm really happy, grateful to have this opportunity.
Being here is a huge step in my career, and it's affirmation on how much I've grown this year as a driver and the potential that I show to those within W Series and FIA 3.
I think the women's now we are in a really good position, and I need to be in the top to have a good opportunity.
There are successful women in motorsport, but they are the exception to the rule. They're not the rule. So we need to make sure that the role models are kind of more frequent, and they are there. It's not going to be the work of a moment. It takes a lot of investment, a lot of time, a lot of seasons of practice. But I think if we did have that breakthrough moment, it would completely transform girls' and women's perspective of their opportunities in motorsport overnight.